John Oaks here with Hankster's Hot Rods here in our Homer City, Pennsylvania location, and today we have another installment of new inventory for you. And today we've got sitting here beside me a 1968 Chevrolet Camaro. And this car is really nice here on the outside and on the inside as well. You can see this nice blue metallic exterior here. Just a slight hint of metallic, but that's always real nice on these cars. And of course you see that white bumblebee nose stripe on the front of this car. Now our car here, all of the bright work, the bumpers, the wheelet moldings, that rocker molding, all of the trim around the windows, the drip rails, rocker panels, all of it is in really good shape. It's polished up really nice. Good and straight the whole way around. There's no dents or dings in any of it. Looks really nice. Of course our bumpers are chrome front and back, and they do have the bumperettes on them too as well to give it that nice finished off appearance. Now our car here, as we see it, it sits on 17-inch wheels the whole way around. They're the American Racing Torque Thrust 2 wheels, polished aluminum, and they've got, as far as tire sizes on them, 205/55 ZR17s on the front to 25/60 R17s on the back. All of the tread on those tires are in great shape. Now as far as the body, you can see how nice and straight it is down the sides. You can see our door fitment as our fenders and quarter panels go. Everything lines up very nice. The gaps are very equal front to back on the car. We even have the chrome mirrors on both sides. And you can see the glass too on this side of the car here. We'll see the other side as we walk around. But again, that's in all good shape as well. We'll open up our door just to take a quick peek on the inside. We've got the black vinyl Deluxe interior on this car. So you've got the Deluxe door panels and the seat covers. Factory center console, factory dash, all factory gauges, and it does have a few extra as far as aftermarket gauges go, but those again, you'll see those in our description as to which gauges are what. All seat belts are present too in the car, and carpeting and so forth is in very good condition. Doors shut very nice and easily on this car too. As we walk back here again, you're noticing how nice and straight the sides of the car are, and we come to the back of the car now where you'll see that chrome bumper, the rear bumperettes on it too. Now our trunk lid again fits very well across here. We've got the rear trunk spoiler, and as far as our rear glass, you can see how nice that is. And as I mentioned, the trim around that whole window is in very good condition. Now I'm going to go ahead and open our trunk up for us. That way we can take a look inside and the underside of the trunk lid itself. Now of course you can see ours is painted that same blue as the exterior of the car. All of your weather stripping here the whole way around is in good condition. The trunk floor itself is in great condition, all one piece. We've got the correct black and aqua trunk spatter paint in here, and as you can see, we've got a set of floor mats in here in case you would want to put those in the car. Again, all of this works good. The hinges, the latch, everything like that all functions as it should. We close it, it shuts nice and easy there too. As you can see, the elevations and the gaps on that trunk lid look really good the whole way around. Now we'll go down the passenger side of the vehicle. Again, all of this is going to be the same as the other side. We're just going to check the conditions basically of all of our bright work on this side of the car. Our glass also, again, in great condition over here. And again, we can look at our gaps on the doors, both front and back, and see that those are very uniform. We'll once again take a peek inside. That way you get to see it from both sides. And again, this car does have air conditioning in it, so we'll take a look at the unit that's been installed once we go underneath the hood on this car. So as we walk forward, we've got the Camaro script emblems here on the front fender. We come up here to the front. You'll see we do have 327 emblems, which is probably what this car came with originally, but you'll see once we open the hood, we've got something much different underneath here. As far as the hood itself goes here, this is a steel hood. It's a 2-inch Cowl induction hood, and you can see the fitment on that. You can see the gaps the whole way around, and the elevations on that all match up really good. As far as the front end, the grill is in great shape. There's nothing, no breaks or cracks or splits in this. All intact here as far as the black grill. Headlights are just your traditional sealed beam units. Of course, we've got your parking lights here. Nice chrome bumper, and again, matching bumperettes on the front of this as well. And then down below, to complete the overall look, we have the front air dam on this car as well. Now, as far as going under the hood, let's go ahead and open that up next. And now we'll get to talk about what we see underneath here. So again, our steel hood, it's painted black on the underside. The actual hinges and springs and so forth, again, doing what they should, and they're holding that hood up. Now you're going to see a lot of shiny stuff underneath here, and again, there was no expense spared underneath the hood. As far as the motor itself goes, this is a crate motor, probably like a Goodwrench Target Master crate motor. It's a 350 cubic inch unit here, and you can see lots of shiny stuff. Starting at the top, we've got a ball milled air cleaner here. Of course, we have the air cleaner or the air filter element itself. Underneath that, we've got a polished Edelbrock carburetor, and that is, I believe, once we check that out, I think it's a 750 CFM carb, if I'm not mistaken. It's a single feed 4-barrel carburetor with the electric choke, and again, that is all hooked up, and that is sitting on top of a polished aluminum Edelbrock Performer EPS intake. Very nice looking unit underneath there. As far as valve covers, chrome valve cover breathers on here as well. As far as all the hoses and lines, we either have all stainless braided line treatment on this car, or as in the case of the radiator, we've got the Coolflex radiator hoses both on the top as well as down on that bottom radiator hose. Now it is just a factory style radiator here with the fan shroud and a 6-blade flex fan. As far as the ignition on the car, we do have an HEI distributor in here. It's topped off with an Accel super coil on there. And then we also have a nice set of Taylor plug wires in here to help deliver the spark to that motor. Now as far as the front drive components, we've got a chrome alternator, a chrome alternator bracket, polished water pump on this thing, and you can see we've got a chrome AC compressor over there, all of which is all hooked up too, so the AC is going to function in this car. Chrome pulleys on it too, and again, you'll see over here as far as our brakes go, power brakes, chrome master cylinder and booster on this car as well, and it is power steering. Now to finish off the engine, exhaust. We do have a set of ceramic coat Sanderson Shorty headers here, emptying into the dual exhaust and dual Flowmaster mufflers, which exit out the rear of the car by way of tailpipes. Now as far as to top off the rest of the driveline now, this motor is coupled to a Powerglide 2-speed automatic transmission and a GM 10-bolt rear end with a 308 gear in it. So that's pretty much the overall of our car on the outside as well as inside. Now what we're going to do next is get this thing up on the lift for you, take a look at the underside, that way you can see how the floors and frame and all the suspension look on the car. So again, as we always do, those of you that want to check this car out, just make sure you give us a call or shoot us an email ahead of time to make sure this car is still available. If you need to fly in, if you're a good bit of ways from us, first major airport to us is the Pittsburgh International Airport there. So with that said, we're going to close this up, get it on the lift so you can see the underside. All right, so now we've got our 1968 Camaro here up on the lift, and we're going to go through this just as we do all of our other vehicles to show you the the steering, suspension, the floors, the frame, all of that underneath the car here in depth so that you see exactly what it is that we've got out there for sale. So underneath the front end, this is just going to be mostly all your typical, just stock standard factory suspension and steering up here. Factory cross member here looks to be in good shape. As far as suspension, these are going to be just your stock stamped steel components for your upper A-arms and your lower control arms. The steering here, you can see it's just your typical steering, your drag link here in the center. You've got your tie rods here, the ball joints on all your tie rods are in great shape. You can see that everything's been maintained. All the rubber dust boots are all intact on all of our ball joints, even on your control arms themselves. As far as the rest of the suspension, we do have a front sway bar here. The sway bar bushings at the frame are in great shape, and the end link bushings looks like they haven't been, they've been replaced fairly recently, so all of that looks to be in real good shape here too. Steering box, I don't see any kind of leaks or anything on any of the lines, so everything's nice and dry underneath here. Since we're up here, we might as well go ahead and talk about our drive line here that we have. So right here, the oil pan you see, this is one of your aftermarket Goodwrench Target Master crate motors. This is a 350 cubic inch motor. Then right behind it, we've got the Powerglide automatic transmission. Yes, it does have the flywheel cover on it to help protect that. You can see your transmission cross member right here, and that's in great shape, nice and straight. Transmission itself around the pan and around the rear seal all look to be really dry also, so no leaks to speak of there. Of course, we have our drive shaft. It is a balanced drive shaft, so it's going to eliminate any kind of vibration you might have in your drivetrain there. And then as far as the rear end goes, this is a GM 10-bolt rear. It's the 8.2 inch ring gear, and it's a 308 gear ratio in here, and it's a limited slip differential. Of course, as far as rear suspension, very easily to tell here that this is a Monoleaf rear suspension. As far as the shocks go on this car, they have upgraded the back to a set of air shocks. That way it's more easily the ride height adjusted on the car, so that you can compensate maybe for that Monoleaf rear suspension. But again, nice and easy to deal with. The actual fill valve for your rear shocks is right back here on the underside of your rear lower valance. Now, as far as braking on this car, it's power brakes. We've got disc brake up front. We've got drums in the back. The emergency brake is all hooked up. You can see the front cable, the intermediate, your frame J hook right here. Of course, your rear cable's going back to your drum brakes. All of that is intact. And then the only other thing here besides the floors, which we'll tackle those last, the wheels and tires. 17-inch wheels on this car. They're American Racing Torque Thrust 2 wheels, polished aluminum. And as far as the tires go, little different sizes on here. I believe we've got 205 55 ZR17s on the front, and then on the back I believe these are 225 60 R17s. A little bit of difference there. I get a little bit of rake in the car, in the suspension, and the way it sits, just to give it a little bit of attitude there with just the tires that's on the car too. Now, the only other thing to go over, frame and floors. The frame itself, subframe, is in great shape. You can see all square, nice and straight here the whole way down through that front subframe. The body mount bushings, those are in good shape. They're not cracked or dry rotted or anything like that. They're tightened up, but again, nothing's split or cracked. The floors, you can tell these are your stock stamped floors. All the stamping lines, you can see those in your floor, so all of that's in good shape. There's no patching in these floors whatsoever. Looks to be in good condition as far as that goes. Back on the, as far as the trunk floors themselves, same thing you can see back here. Looks like they might have put a patch in here, but they cut it out nice and square, it looks like, and seam sealed everything, did it correctly. It's not just flat steel, it is stamped components just like you see here on your floors, so that's done correctly. Fuel tank is your stock fuel tank. All of that, which back here has been kind of undercoated. You can tell the floors have been lightly undercoated too. Now we don't do any of that here. We just do kind of like a just a black spray paint, just to make sure everything's uniform underneath here. Other than that though, frame, floors all good, suspension all good. We've been through everything. So again, just a real nice overall car from the underside. We're going to get it down off the lift next. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start up our 68 Camaro for you here. Take you for a quick drive just down and up the road again, just to show you how it runs, drives, shifts, steers, brakes, all of that stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and do it from initial start. Fires right up, no problems there. We're gonna go ahead, put her in gear now. Now again, this is a 2-speed Powerglide, so we've got her in drive right now. And we'll come up here and wait till we get a clearing in our traffic, and we'll take off. Okay, so first off, it pulls out nice and easy. Now again, it does have a 308 gear in it, so it's, you know, not gonna be like a rocket ship off the line or off of starts or anything, but it's a nice driving gear, a nice, you know, highway gear to go out and cruise with. As far as the steering goes, drives very nice. Does not pull to one side or the other. Steers nice and straight as we're driving down the road. As far as the brakes go, brakes seem pretty good too. Again, it is a disc brake car up front, drum on the rear, and again, that is power brakes. And we're just going to come down here to our intersection here where we'll wait for our green light. Now, as we're sitting here waiting, I just want to go ahead and go through a few things. We'll get a shot of the speedo working here as we get turned around here, but fuel gauge does work on it. All of our turn signals do work on this also. Again, I mentioned in our video previously, we do have a few aftermarket gauges. You've got your oil pressure, you've got your voltmeter, and you have your water temperature gauge. Now, all of those are working. Now, our water temperature gauge, we just got the car started, so we'll check back on that here in just a minute here. But the AC, it is an aftermarket air conditioning unit in here. Factory style heater controls, but if you listen close, you can hear the blower motor does work. All of our slide controls, those function too. Now, we just got our green light, so we're gonna go ahead and get heading back here the other direction. And again, like I said, the car drives super easy, steers nice, and the car's very tight too. A lot of these older cars that we get, you know, sometimes they can be, you know, have a little bit of a rattle to them every now and again, but this car is very sound, very tight also. So with this, we're going to get back out on the highway here. We've got a nice little run here that we do just to, again, to show the car driving, you know, to show no problems and that everything's functioning good. All right, so we've got to our turnaround here, so we're going to pull out now and just kind of pay attention. Transmission. Again, 2-speed, it shifts nice. Doesn't slam into gear, and it doesn't slip either, so it's a nice gradual shift. So as we drive down, again, like I said, very tight car, no rattles, doesn't pull, the brakes nice and straight also. The speedometer there, again, we can see that it is working. And again, wipers work, like I said, AC works, the radio, not that it's real important. You can hear the fuzz, you can tell that it works. I'm not going to mess around trying to find a radio station. But again, your gauge is down there. You can see the water temperature now has come up and it's reading probably about 170 there, real close to that. Our oil pressure gauge, you know, again, this is coming to a stop at idle. We're just a little above 40, probably around 45 or so at idle. And then, of course, as we give it a little more throttle, the oil pressure does pick up on it more so. Voltmeter works, so again, all of this just in great working condition. Got our steering wheel here. It's a nice sport style wheel, kind of the wood grain trim around here too. Good wheel to get a good grip of. It's got the grips in it. So again, driving comfort is going to be there, especially with this deluxe interior. The seats feel really good in an older car like this. So we're pulling up now to our shop. We're going to get pulled in here to where we can finish up with our video there. So I hope you enjoyed the ride along. Like I said, if you have any questions or concerns, this car or any other car in our inventory, be sure to give us a call and or shoot us an email prior to coming up.